Candace Owens just had a midnight meltdown. I don't know if you caught this last night. When Candace is feeling on the ropes a little bit, she goes to X and she does a blast really late in the night. She did this back with Mitch Snow and the Fort Huachuca when that all kind of was in chaos. And it just happened again because Jeremy Boring just validated a lot of the stuff that Laura Loomer has been putting out regarding Candace Owens. I wasn't expecting Candace to come out like, guns blazing last night, but she did. She's responding. You can tell she's panicking a little bit. And these two women, Laura Loomer, Candace Owens, they are at it again, and they're nonstop. I think overall, I'm glad what Laura Loomer is doing for the most part, because Candace needs to be called in check. She needs to be called on the carpet, what she's been doing nonstop, like in vitriol against Erika Kirk the last 5-7 months. And she's met her match with Laura Loomer. But some of the things that Candace said last night were kind of wild. She projects onto everyone else what she herself is doing.
And trying to go solo. And simultaneously, they're still running this game of trying to get the press to go after me, to go after my family. So when I say it has been a nonstop onslaught against my life, this is what I mean. And I do think it's time for us to share the documents so people can actually read the documents of what my family has lived through, because I feel like I should be doing a series like Surviving the Daily Wire. People don't understand what it's been like. And we have never played dirty back with them. We have never. Everything they ever put together was a conspiracy theory in their own head. We don't play that way. We have genuinely, and I partially think that's the reason why we've been protected by them, and why conclusions like even the Brett thing happening, which they thought was a big thing.
So she says she has not played dirty with the Daily Wire, who she was fired from. Jeremy Boring said that she was fired by him, in fact. But she has not played dirty with them, but she saved it all up and put it all on Erika Kirk. It's like you just take all your anger out on someone, and that's what she did and what she's done. But I've just noticed since it's really been in the last couple weeks, Laura Loomer's come on the stage and regarding Candace Owens and calling her out nonstop. Candace has been pretty quiet about Erika Kirk lately. Have you noticed that? At least the last 3 episodes, she's still talking about Charlie Kirk, the assassination, asking her questions, which is, fine. I have a lot of questions. Everybody has what went down that event, but I think the whole what's been messed up about it is she's turned her attention on Erika Kirk and try to put her she's blood guilty about her own husband's death. You cannot backtrack that. She did. She put it on Erika Kirk. You can try to finagle and try to mix up the words and so I didn't necessarily explicitly say that. What were you doing that whole time? What were you doing that whole time when you're just attacking her? All right, this next clip, this is kind of wild. So Candace is saying that the reason she got let go from the Daily Wire was because they believed she was conspiring behind the scenes with Nick Fuentes, none other than Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. And that's why. And Nick's just eating it up. He's happy as hell. With Nick, it's so weird. If you're on that side, because lines are being drawn between everybody. Are you for Candace? Are you for Erika? Are you pro Nick Fuentes? Are you pro Israel? These are kind of the dividing lines that are happening more and more. And they think that the people that are for, Israel are the institutional. They have all the money, the backing, the power as well. But the regular people, just the Tucker Carlson, he's just a regular guy. He doesn't have any power or sway over the masses. He doesn't have much reach. So, I think these what Nick Fuentes he's putting out there is just this idea of the power that Jewish people have, which I would say, I'm not going to lie, they got a lot of power. They got, in some quarters, they got a lot of money and influence. There's no question. I'm not going to say that they don't. But I think we give them a lot more credit than at times they really deserve. And they're just I think they're just probably upset about it because you're just accused. If anything happens, say Donald Trump gets shot today. I'm not saying anything and that's a very serious thing. But if he did, the very, very first thing, Ian Carroll or Candace Owens, Israel did it. Israel did it. That's their mantra. They're just like lemmings. That's all they say. They don't have they don't have a plan B. They have, that is it, and that's what they're running with. But this clip is talking about Nick Fuentes. He had a little update about this.
So, first and foremost, it has been very obvious to me that Ben has some sort of whether it's diagnosed, I don't know, or a diagnosed mental disorder. Something happened after October 7th, and Ben began demonstrating what I would say was exuding characteristics of schizophrenia, like truly paranoid schizophrenia, where he started making accusations against me that were just not true. There was not a shred of truth to this. And Jeremy, because he had spent tens of millions of dollars on Pendragon, and it was a financial disaster. I believe he privately began telling Ben that these conspiracies that he was coming up with were true. Namely, Ben believed truly, and Jeremy said that he believed it too, that I was devising some secret plot with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson to bring down the Daily Wire. I was brought into an office after Ben stood up on a table and called me a faux sophisticate. And I was like, what's going on? And they basically wanted me to apologize to Ben for him having insulted me. And then because during that week I had gone on to Tucker Carlson for an appearance that had been planned before Ben got on the table, he somehow in his head thought that it meant that me and Tucker Carlson were plotting against him. I don't know how Nick Fuentes got into the scenario, but they brought me into a room and they questioned me, and I didn't know what to say. I was genuinely 9 months pregnant, and I was so shocked that they even thought this was a plausibility.
But then later on, she did actually have a conversation with Nick Fuentes, and that was, you should go check that out. You should try to find it. It might be behind a paywall. Whatever, I guess Candace, that's her thing. She put it behind a paywall. She didn't want, and that pissed Nick off that she did. But it's out there. You can find it, even though not even paying for it. You can somehow find it. I've seen it. It's on YouTube. But with her saying, like, she's projecting onto everyone else, like everyone else is in psychosis and just attacking people just from mass conspiracy. This is what Candace Owens does. This is what she is. She's doing it to everyone else and just asking questions, ruining people's reputations, and then just sitting back and like, oh, I was just asking questions, but now the tables have turned and she's getting a little taste of her own medicine, and we're seeing how she's reacting. She has definitely pivoted. She's definitely panicking when she calls a midnight call on X. She doesn't go to YouTube, but on X, you can tell she's panicking. I wanted to point this out regarding Laura Loomer and what she has done. She is a wrecking ball. She is very effective, as we have seen. It has changed Candace Owens completely and what she's doing right now regarding Erika Kirk and just her propagating of conspiracy nutso theories that she's been putting out there. But Laura Loomer reminds me of Prophet Jehu in the Old Testament. There was this wild man in the Old Testament that God used, that God just called and commissioned and just told him, just these prophets of Baal have just risen up, and the king of Israel was just evil and was being run by this woman Jezebel, if you've heard of her. And then the prophet Jehu just went to town and just tore down all these prophets of Baal. He even destroyed the Jezebel, that Queen Jezebel or whatever, threw her out of a window. And that just kind of reminds me, like, God doesn't always use the most conventional, best speaking people. Even Laura Loomer she's good at speaking. I mean, just saying, these women are good talkers, and a lot of times just debating or whatever, it's just like, it's just how much can you shout over someone else or talk or think quicker or whatever. I guess that's the debate thing or whatever. As you see, I don't have that as much, whatever, but I do my thing. I have my own kind of role to play. And I would just say that what God has used, at least Laura Loomer against Candace Owens, to stop her and to make her second guess. Maybe I shouldn't just put all my time and attention on attacking Erika Kirk. Maybe that has caused her to just at least think about it. Like maybe, or I don't know if it's the lawsuits, but we know that it's at least Laura Loomer coming in and stepping in. It has stopped her in her tracks. And I hope that Laura Loomer continues to put the pressure on her. She's not doing everything conventional, and you could disagree with the things she says. She even says herself she's not a Christian. Maybe God will work into her life and call her to becoming a Christian. I hope so. But right now, at least, God is using her to stop this woman, because God says, if the widow will cry out to me, my anger will be aroused. And that's what has happened. I could see, because you cannot just blatantly attack a widow after she's just been through this horrific event. She has just her, a single mom now, just raising her kids, and every day you're waking up to that. God is like, I would say, at least sent like the maybe not the most conventional person, Laura Loomer, but there's been just a lot of guys before that. I think of Graham Allen and a lot of other people that have spoken up. Even Ben Shapiro and others, but they have not had the impact that Laura Loomer has had, and which is incredible. And I think that Candace, you can tell she's shooken, she's shaken, and I hope she changes her course. Maybe just, you can do the whole conspiracy thing, but just like lay off, people that are innocent. This is our country. You're innocent until proven guilty. What do you think? I know there's a lot of the Candace supporters out there that are going to disagree with this, but what do you think? Or maybe just be open to be challenged. I think if you're open to that, you can get a stronger position, a more correct position. You might be right about certain things, but be willing to be challenged and think through. And I do the same thing. I have to, what does the other side say? Challenge my own viewpoints and try to come with a stronger viewpoint that is more correct and more aligned with the truth. All right, we'll leave it at that. Smash that like button and have a good Wednesday. See y'all.